There are more than 70 free-to-play games coming to console and PC in 2025. Experiences that aren't locked behind paywalls and have the potential to become juggernauts of gaming. Today, we are looking at 20 of the most impressive free-to-play games coming in 2025 across as many genres as I could find. From shooters to sports games, from open worlds to dungeon crawlers. And today's video is sponsored by Game Award nominee Wuthering, which has just released on PlayStation. More on that very soon. Free games of 2025? Let's do this! If you've been addicted to the Arcane series, you should know Jinx and the crew are coming to 2XKO this year. A 2-on-2 fighter where you and a buddy take a character each and work together, tagging in and out of battle. And just in case you don't have friends, a solo version is here too. 2XKO generally controls like other games in the genre, with light, medium and heavy attacks alongside unique special moves. Riot Games want this to be an esport and are designing gameplay that takes thought and a more tactical approach than just mere button bashing. This is done by building up combos and seamlessly calling in your partner at the perfect time to continue the beatdown. That said, to assist new players, an auto combo feature simplifies each fighter to allow noobs like me to hold their own against the fighting game elite, making each round competitive. 2XKO is coming to PS5, Xbox Series and PC in 2025. There are many first-person shooters coming this year, but the most anticipated one for me is FragPunk. From the outside, it looks like just another hero shooter, but wait, it has a gimmick I think you will like. Cards. Each player gets a random set of options and can select them in-game, changing the game. This could alter the terrain, making the rain disguise the sound of your footsteps, or a frozen floor to make everything a knee-sliding playground. Whereas other cards change core mechanics like sacred headshots. We can literally make everyone's head huge and much easier to hit, and of course the opposite can happen. Heads can be shrunk. It looks like Beetlejuice. We change the rule as we play, including gravity. We can turn the entire world on its head. FragPunk has so much potential, and this one also has a date, March the 6th, free on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. If you're looking for an action RPG in 2025, take a look at Wuthering, which released on PlayStation 5 this very week. It's out right now, joining PC and mobile alongside the new 2.0 update. This highly anticipated open-world action RPG features a vibrant cast of exquisitely designed playable characters, known as Resonators. The combat is excellent as we dodge and counterattack and seamlessly tag in other members of the team to continue the onslaught. The intro-outro system encourages players to link attacks between all members of the team, applying buffs and status effects. And once our pool of Resonators grows, it's all about choosing the right synergy of characters, like the pistol-wielding Carlotta and a whole host of other characters added regularly. Outside of the fast-paced combat, story missions and exploration make up the core of the gameplay loop. And with the 2.0 update, a whole new region has been added, Rinascita, as Carnival kicks off, and an all-new mainline story begins, alongside new ways to traverse the world, including literal flight soaring through the skies, and a gondola to navigate in water and even up waterfalls. Wuthering Waves 2.0 is out right now on the PS5, the PC and mobile. Take a look at the Ballad of Antara, an upcoming dark fantasy action RPG. A 14-minute demo showcase released late last year, and for sure it looks to be a Souls-like inspired open-world adventure, giving Sekiro and Elden Ring vibes. I've probably given the game the kiss of death for that comparison. We play as emissaries, powerful entities that can wield the life force of essence. The world we live in and explore is linked to another dimension, so there are 2 levels to this world, for the price of 1. Well, for the price of none. We've seen a bunch of fight scenes including grueling bosses that will test your dodge and parry skills to the max, and Ballad of Antara can be played alone or with up to 3 players online together. We're still waiting officially on platform confirmation, but a few of the trailers do state PlayStation 5, PC and mobile, and this is definitely in my top 5 games to play in 2025. I wonder how it will be monetized. Could this be a gacha? Last year we looked at Project Mugen, an urban open world that blends so many elements of so many games you like, from the web swinging of Spider-Man to the combat of Genshin Impact, from the sprawling world of GTA to the mini-games that make up a life sim. Well, Project Mugen is no more, as it has a new title, Ananta, which translates into English as Infinity. I guess we'll be spending forever in Ananta. The latest update shows some of the activities we'll be experiencing, and it's absolutely packed. Here in Nova City, we can take part in melee brawls and gunfights in speeding vehicles. We see tires used to subdue enemies in a fight. Combat in general looks quite varied and vibrant, and epic boss fights really show that this game is not trying to stay in the remit of reality. The blurb around the game states that this world is where realities and anomalies coexist. Just look in the background of this one shot. Is that Mecha King Kong? And why was that train floating? Ananta definitely has me interested. A game coming much sooner, in February in fact, is Midnight Murder Club. A first-person shooter with a twist, because everything is pitch black. Every player is armed with a gun and a torch or flashlight, and it's completely down to the player if they use their light or not. It's possible to navigate in the dark, although chances are you will bump into a few things along the way, and the moment someone sees a light, they know another player is near. It's really unsettling, but the best part of all is proximity chat. Players can talk to each other between rooms. Their voices are muffled and echoey depending on the distance, giving hints to teammates or just sussing out where another player is hiding. And when a bullet is shot, it lights up the path all the way back to the person who pulled the trigger. I played the beta with friends and absolutely loved it. I'm not sure there's a game that's going to last people a long time here, but as a one-off game night with friends, it's absolutely amazing and so much fun. Midnight Murder Club comes in February. A game currently in open beta on PC is Delta Force, which will fully release on pretty much every platform except the Switch in 2025. The tactical shooter is here to take on Call of Duty and Battlefield, and to be honest, I think it may have already eliminated Battlefield. In the core mode, we play as a single soldier in the middle of a war zone, and depending on the size of the game, military vehicles can be used, like helicopters and tanks, all gunning for ownership of zones, defending and attacking as the battle ebbs and flows. Operators are Delta Force's classes, with different loadouts to excel in one aspect while lacking in others, and this dictates what the player will be doing during the gunfight. Aside from massive warfare, Delta Force also has an extraction mode, as 3 players move into a hostile zone to grab loot and then get the hell out of there. And as I'm writing this, a PvE raid mode has been revealed. Delta Force begins mobile and console trials in January, which should hopefully lead to a final release later in the year, or at least an open beta on all platforms. Check out Unending Dawn, a game we know less than a little about. Suddenly, a trailer popped up following PlayStation's investment into the China Hero project, and we got this, a Souls-like game crossed with an anime-style gacha. Fans are already calling this anime Darksouls, and you can definitely see why. A 5-minute slice of an epic boss fight showcasing the moveset of both our hero and the brilliantly frustrating ways bosses get to break the rules of combat. We're expecting more info to drop in April as the game is confirmed for PS5 and mobile. We're moving into the synergy part of video games now, where we play on multiple devices. The idea is that we play the more difficult parts at home with a controller in hand, and then use our phone to do the daily grinding of logging in. A PC version isn't confirmed yet, but I'll be very surprised if we don't get one before release date. More news in April. Do you remember Splitgate, the first-person shooter that gave us the power of teleportation? Those devs are back with the brilliantly titled sequel, Splitgate 2. Imagine if Halo and Portal made a video game baby, and you've pretty much got the premise here. The original game was totally arcadey, and that vibe is set to continue, yet with a more serious focus on tactical play, portaling to flank enemies and outwit your foes. The core mode is 4-on-4, with more modes to be unveiled soon. Plus, this updated art style should help sell cosmetic items. Splitgate 2 could be huge if it's supported correctly, which I'm sad to say the original game was not. Splitgate 2 drops on PS5, PS4, the Xboxes, and PC this year. A game a little further off comes from the creators of Warframe, in the shape of SoulFrame, a third-person fantasy RPG that combines many of the crafting systems in Warframe to the more expected skill trees of standard ARPGs. We are in this world to fight back a corruption spreading across the land, which is split into 2 regions. The top side is the open world, and under that is the Undercity, and this will be a perpetually changing, procedurally generated dungeon system. Combat is primarily melee focused, yet there are ranged options like magic and throwing your weapon, God of War style, and summoning it back. And a stealth system that lets you quietly take out the unexpected. So the full game won't be releasing this year, but a smaller version known as Preludes will be. Remember back when I started these lists and every game was a battle royale? Well, I found a new one, and it's anime again. Fate Trigger the Novita, a 3D anime-styled hero-based tactical shooter coming to PS5, Xbox Series and PC. We'll be diving into a dynamic world of floating islands powered by jiggle physics. Wow. Well, from what I can tell, it's even more colourful than Fortnite, but has more of the sensibilities of Apex Legends. We play in third person, then when aiming down sights, we switch into a first person view, blending realistic weapons with the sci-fi inspired, and each character has their own skill set, like defensive walls or soaring sky abilities. One well-endowed lady has a lipstick that can track enemies, but I can't lie, I kinda wanna give it a go. Anyone else? If you like vibrant colours, take a look at Project Ethos. The name will likely be changed closer to release. This is both a hero shooter and an extraction shooter, and a roguelite. Let me explain a little. Each character has their own abilities, but none of them should distract from the gunplay. Each match is persistent, which effectively means you will drop into a game that has already begun for somebody else. They'll likely have more advanced gear by the time you meet, yet 10 minutes later you'll run into a new player who's just spawned in, and now you're the one with the leveled gear. This land is PvPvE, meaning yes, there are other players, but there's also AI to defeat, hopefully before a face-off with other real players. Project Ethos comes to PS5, Xbox Series and PC later in the year. Have a look-see at Spectre Divide, a tactical shooter in the vein of Valorant, as we attack and defend 2 bomb sites. But here's the twist. Only 3 players are present in either team, even though this is a 6-on-6 match. And that's because we each have a Spectre, which can be thrown down to create a clone of ourselves. We can literally watch over ourselves in real time. It's not AI, we control it, reacting to our primary character being flanked and taking control of the clone. They call this idea duality, and I think it could be more than just a gimmick. The co-op roguelike Acadegeddon is going free to play before April, in a blend of PvE and PvP. This neon-soaked shooter has us save our local arcade from a virus. Playing in third person, we methodically run and gun through numerous biomes, taking down the corruption from within, 1 bullet at a time. Or more like 1,000 bullets at a time. As this is a roguelite, we start each run with the bare minimum and find loot during each playthrough. These can be the typical weapons seen in most shooters, yet each can be combined with elemental upgrades to take advantage of enemy weaknesses. And on top of that, more power-ups can increase speed, magazine size, and even how far explosions carry. Acadegeddon looks to be coming in the first quarter of the year. I'll keep you updated. 2025 looks to be the year of free-to-play anime gachas, and here's another one, Neverness to Everness, which shares a great deal of similarities to the Ananta game we looked at earlier. Set in a supernatural urban open world filled with anomalies, we are tasked with keeping the city safe, yet when we aren't on duty ripping apart our enemies, we are making a life here in the city, and thus Neverness to Everness is a lifestyle game. It's a management game, and it's a game about self-expression, or in other words, it's highly customizable. Little details really sell these games, and I gotta admit, I did like seeing the NPCs look for shelter when the rain started pouring. Neverness to Everness is actually quite fun to say, and it's coming to PS5, Xbox Series, PC and mobile this year. There's a couple of sports games coming this year, starting with Skate. The arcadey skateboarding sim has been in development for years now, and as they slowly edge towards the finish line, we finally have confirmation it is coming in early 2025. We've seen a robust character creator and a few board customizations, and as this is an ongoing live service that will be supported for years, what you see on day 1 should only be the foundations of what you see on day 1000, making this the first skateboarding MMO, I guess. The trick system has us flicking the controller with our thumbs to replicate the foot movement in real life. Pop-up activities in the city are here to help people meet new players and to compete against each other. And there is a story mode too, but the developers are keeping that secret right now. Skate is coming to PS5, Xbox and PC, and last gen, so PS4 owners, Xbox One players, you are not left behind here. While we're on sports games, here's a few more. Maximum Football, the version of football with padded men chasing an egg, released on Steam last month to mixed reviews. The simulation of Gridiron has us build a team, recruiting and growing a roster to challenge for titles, and is coming to other platforms including last gen in 2025. An upcoming free-to-play football game with the spherical ball is Goals, and sadly that's as much as I know right now, as the trailer is pretty much void of any gameplay. Only very early alpha footage is possible to spot online, and most of it is in vertical view. Ugh. So I reckon for now we shouldn't expect goals this year, but I hope to be wrong. A game we've looked at many times in the last year was Path of Exile 2, a game proudly free to play, yet on first release, it had a paywall. Well, let's fix that issue first, as it's in the comments a lot. Path of Exile 2 is currently in early access, and Let's Players jump into an unfinished version of the game for a small fee. When the game is fully complete, hopefully this year, we will all be able to jump into Path of Exile 2 free to play. If you've not seen this before, it's another action RPG, but unlike the others on this list, it's more of a dungeon crawler, with procedurally generated levels in this isometric view. The biggest addition for me is the dodge roll, and I know it doesn't sound like much, but it somehow changes everything. The amount of weapons and class types to master in Path of Exile 2 is, to be honest, definitely worth the $25 price tag, but we're not talking about paid games right now, we're talking about free-to-play games, and Path of Exile 2 is coming in 2025 on PlayStation 5, PC and Xbox Series. The creators of Steel Hunters are looking to bring their mech PvPvE game to console after the PC open beta in the spring this year. Wargaming, the studio behind Steel Hunters, have a track record of this approach with both their tank and warships games. And as arcadey as Steel Hunters looks, it's actually a strategic tactical shooter with the same pedigree as World of Tanks and World of Warships, currently in the beta stage of development. Mobile game Star Wars Hunters, the arena shooter, will slowly be migrated over to other platforms in 2025, starting with the PC in January. Alongside visual upgrades, this team shooter is testing the water to see if the controls are tight enough to be accepted by both the keyboard and mouse audience and of course controller players. The colourful and fast-paced world of Star Wars Hunters smashes together the old and the new eras of the franchise in the most family-friendly of ways. We've covered more than 20 games now, and I think this video is getting a bit too long, so I need to find an end point, which is now.